So 2013 is finally here at the end, and naturally this is one of my favorite videos that I love to make in the year, and that's Game of the Year. Now, for Game of the Year this in particular year, I only have 4 categories that I wish to discuss, and I'm going to start out with the best soundtrack of this year, and that easily goes to Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. I loved this game, I loved the soundtrack of it, the overall feel of it. It's just an awesome game, great soundtrack by Power Glove. Definitely one of the most memorable games of 2013. So Game of the Year 2013, or as I like to call it, everybody dislikes this video in 2013. I know that this video is probably going to piss a lot of people off because of my opinion, but what the hell, let's go right into this. Best soundtrack of the year. Hands down, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Power Glove did an exceptional job with this little $15 game that just, overall, it's great. It appeals to everything that I love about both movies and video games. It's completely over the top. It's over-the-top action. It's a play on 80s movies and 80s science fiction, and overall, it was just a great soundtrack. And I even purchased the soundtrack online. That's how good of a soundtrack it is. Now, the most overhyped game of the year. I initially had 2 nominations for this, but I decided to go with the one that I obviously chose. But the other one that I was going to pick for most overhyped was BioShock Infinite. A lot of people put this in there for Game of the Year. Personally, I do not believe that BioShock Infinite is worthy of that title because of the fact that if you take away certain cutscenes from this game, like the parts that everybody praises the story, and whenever a cutscene happens, but it's getting to the cutscene that also matters. And when it comes to BioShock Infinite, it's just not a very good shooter at all. It's a very dull shooter to play, in my opinion. And getting to those cutscenes is a chore, and that to me is a red flag in video games. The other one that I had picked, which is the overhyped game of 2013, is most definitely The Last of Us. With BioShock Infinite, at least I had cutscenes and a story that kept me engaged throughout the entire game that made me go from start to finish. The Last of Us is probably one of the most tedious titles that I've played this year. The controls are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I found this game to be, for the first few hours, I found the controls to be very arbitrary. I found the enemy AI to not really make much sense, especially with the clickers, and I'm not sure if this was because I hadn't downloaded the patch yet, but I noticed certain enemies going through walls, clipping through them, and overall to me it was just a buggy game for me to play through, not to mention the fact that I felt it went on for way too long, and it tries to make you emotionally attached to characters because of what happens in the beginning of the game with the main character, Joel. It really does take sort of a cheap shot in getting you to care for Ellie in this game. Overall, I was really disinterested in this game. I do not want to see a sequel. I do not want to play any DLC. I felt that this game was just overhyped to the max. I hope Naughty Dog just gives me another Uncharted game because I do not want to see this ever again. So, and with that, you've probably clicked off the video. Worst Game of the Year. Again, there are multiple nominees for this category. I was thinking really long and hard about what game I could give this award to. And I thought, well, Aliens Colonial Marines came out this year, and that was probably one of the biggest shitstorms. DMC Devil May Cry was probably one of the biggest pieces of shit that Capcom would ever put on their fan base for Devil May Cry ever. Definitely one of those games that infuriated myself, being a Devil May Cry fan. But ultimately, I had to give it to Beyond Two Souls. And a lot of people, again, praised this game. And I think the key word here is game. Beyond Two Souls is not a video game, by any stretch of the imagination. David Cage is attempting to market to you a $60 interactive movie. I could not even finish this title. I maybe played for about 10 10 to 12 hours at least before I just quit. I couldn't stand sitting through this and not really doing anything. I couldn't care for these characters. I don't understand why everybody praises this, and Heavy Rain for that matter. When I first bought a PlayStation 3, I attempted to play Heavy Rain, and I felt the same way that I do about Beyond Two Souls. Granted, everybody can praise its storytelling. Everybody can praise the characters and how well developed they are. But at the end of the day, this is not a video game. It is a CG interactive movie. And you hear this a lot with games that I particularly like, including stuff like Metal Gear Solid. But at least Metal Gear Solid, at points in the game, would allow you to play for an hour or two before giving you a 30-minute cutscene. There's actually gameplay elements. There are factors that go into stopping you and giving you a game over, which is something that David Cage does not believe in Beyond Two Souls. There is no way to lose. In fact, the only way to win is to keep on clicking a button, like a remote control. And that's about all the interactivity that you get out of this game. So, worst game of the year goes to Beyond Two Souls, based on the principle that it's not even a game. And people still ate the shit out of it. But now let's end this video on a bit of a positive note. Game of the year. What good games have we seen this year? Well, definitely not Battlefield 4 or Call of Duty Ghosts. Battlefield 4 has been a complete disaster, which even still hasn't been fixed to this day, and the game was released on October 29th, and it's the end of the year. What game stuck out so far with me that I'm still playing it to this day? That's how good of a title it is. Replaying it. High replay value. Great visuals. Just an overall great piece of software. And I would have to give that to the winner of Best Soundtrack, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Where do I even begin with how great this game is? First off, it's got a great price tag of $15. Easily gets you 12 hours of gameplay to 100%. Chock full of movie references, a great soundtrack, great visuals, great voice acting from Michael Biehn, and probably one of the best tutorials I have ever seen in a video game to date. In fact, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is the complete antithesis of Beyond Two Souls. Beyond Two Souls is this avant-garde, artsy art house piece of software, while Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon embodies everything that video games stand for. It's pure fun, you don't have to take it seriously at all, and it just wants to entertain you. And that's why I believe that Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is Game of the Year. What were your guys' Game of the Year? Obviously, a lot of people are probably going to disagree with my list, but again, leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought was the best, worst soundtrack, overhyped game. I don't care. Best RTS, for that matter. Come on, just leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time and into the new year, Phantasm Mask here, signing out.